Yeah, so we'll talk about char index, see a few examples of concatenations after that, and then see how we can use cast. And then when we are done with those three things, we will just go into play mode. And then we will play with dates. So let's see. So that's basically the plan for today. Hopefully we should finish before 10. We should finish before 11. Let me go into char index. So like I said, it's used mainly for cleaning of data, right? So we have to have data that is not really clean. And if you remember, I've been saying that this database is actually, we were given clean data in this. It's quite very clean, except a few instances. So we can't use this for the purpose of this training. It's not that we can't use it at all, but for the purpose of this training, it will not be suitable. So I'll switch to my this thing. Oh gosh. Right. So for example, if we say, let's say, for example, that we select, let's select under this database, what do we have? Let's say select all. Yes, even in not opening my tables. Okay, select all from company locations. This is the table I want to use. So let's see what we have here first, okay? Then we can decide. Remember last week we spoke about this column here, company string. I don't know if you remember when we split up some of the we split up the words that make up this from country. We split up regions, country, region. I hope you remember that. Now, if you look carefully, let's just take this column from this table. Let's just take this one. Company string. Let's just look at this. If you look at this column very carefully, remember we came across something in between the country and the region, which ordinarily, if you are writing, if you want to describe a country and a region, you wouldn't put them together like these are. For example, England and London, you wouldn't just put them together like that. England and Northwest, you wouldn't put them like that, together like that. France and Paris, you wouldn't put them together. Now you see that's demarcating line between the two, between the country and then the region. Do you remember the name of that line? Does anybody remember? Actually, Mr. Ebenezer even mentioned it in the last class.
It is called pipe.
It's a pipe. Yep, that's a pipe. That's a pipe. Right. So how do we get this pipe? Remember we were able to use substring to get to this location where this pipe is. We can also use something. We can also use the char index, which is very, very powerful. It's a very powerful cleaning tool in SQL to get the pipe position, the position of the pipe. Right. So let's see where this pipe is positioned for each of these. Let's see where the pipe is positioned. So to do that, let's say we have select. Char index. We are looking for where the pipe is. And the pipe is a string. So we put it in quotation marks. Where is the pipe? In which column is the pipe found? It is found in the column company string. Right? It is found in the column company string. And where do we start from? Where do we want to start our count from? We want to start our count from position 0. The very first. Okay? So if we run this, what will that give us? The position of the pipe. This gives us the position of the pipe in each of these words, each of these combinations. So if you count England, pipe northwest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The pipe is in the 8th position. France, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The pipe is in the 7th position. Okay. Now we haven't given this column a name, and that is why it has no name, but we can just give it a name. And now we have this. It's the same thing. We've only given it a name. Right. So if we want, for example, to get just the country part, remember we could have used the left substring, right? We could have used the left, but we want just the country part in the word or in the combination that is here. What do we do? Copy and paste that again, and then we see that the country, if we want the country, all the countries on the left, so that will be the left part of the query, right? So that would be left of the left part of the query. Left, and this would be in bracket. So all of this is the position of the pipe. All of this here. All of this is the position of the pipe. So what we are telling this to do is that to the left of the pipe in company string, to the left of the pipe in company's string, to the left of the pipe in company string, take -1. Left of the pipe in company string, pipe char index company string 0 as country. Oh, okay. Can anybody tell us why the line there's that underlining there? It's just a small, very small error. Char index. Left of the pipe in company string char index. Yep. Left of the pipe in company string, then the pipe position -1. The pipe position is in position 8. The pipe is in position 8. So if we want let's just take England Northwest, for example, the pipe is in position 8. So if we want just England is made up of how many characters? 7 characters, right? So counting from the left, 7 characters. So that would be 8 -1. Okay, 8 -1. As you would remember, this is dynamic, so it would work for all of these. It would take this, for example, so you see, if it takes New Zealand, Christchurch, to the left of the pipe in New Zealand, Christchurch, counting from position 0, count up to 1 position before the pipe. So that will be 12 -1. The pipe is in the 12th position. So that will be 12 -1 as country. And if we run this, let's run both of these together. Let's see what we have. Okay, let me just run that one. So that just gives us this here. It takes England out of the whole lot. In much the same way, we can combine this with a substring to get the region. The region is a part of it. So if we add substring to this, substring, we want all of this. Right? But instead of -1, what do you think we should do in this case? Where are we going to start counting from? Now we want the region. This part is the country, that is the region. So where are we going to start counting from? Can we have any help? Are we still in the class?
Can we start counting from pipe +1?
Exactly, from the pipe +1. From the pipe +1. So +1. From the pipe +1. And then we can indicate how many characters we want, as many as we want after the pipe. Let's put 30 there. Assuming there are 30 characters after the pipe. It really doesn't matter. Now this would be as region. And let's run this together and see what we get.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes, please, shoot. Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. So what does is it the 0 just at the back of the company screen? What does that
They start counting, you start counting from position 0.
mean? 0.
Yeah. Normally when you're counting, you count from 1, right? But in most programming languages, positional counts start from 0. Okay, so in much the same way too, you can use a replace here, like we did the last time. You can use a replace here to replace some of the, like we still have, do we still have dots? Like we still have dots in this. We have dots here. We have dots. Yep. You can still replace your dots. Right? We can still do that. So again, you see, you can combine your char index to split up your the data to make the data cleaner, and then combine it with a replace to replace all unnecessary things. So assuming we had ampersand or other characters in this data set here, we can use the after splitting them up like we have, we can then use replace. Let's try that. Let's remove the dots, the full stops that we have here and there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but if you look hard enough, you should see it. So replace. And remember, we did replace last week. We need the whole of this. We're just replacing the dots, right? So there isn't much change we are doing here, other than saying that replace dots with empty space, or whatever it is we want to replace it with. What do we want to replace? We want to replace the dots that we have in there, the full stop. We want to replace the full stops with space. Okay. What do we call this? Let's just say region without dots. Region without the dots. And let's run all of this and see what we get. Is this making sense though? If you look hard enough and you compare the two, you'll see that the dot here has vanished. If you look at it here, you can't see it in this one. Same with that. Same with this. Same with that. You can't see the dots. Right. Now, assuming it was something else that was there. Yes. Okay, let's replace the dot with, what should we replace it with? So that it becomes clearer. Let's replace it with ampersand. Right? Let's replace it with, so that we see exactly what we are talking about. We're going to get rid of it anyway when we finish. But let's, just for the purpose of having a clearer view, let's just see what it is. So let's replace that with ampersand. So region with or region with percentage, region with a wildcard. Region with wildcard. Let's run this and see. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish copying. I didn't finish copying, so yeah. Or highlighting rather. So you see all of these places where you see the wildcard had full stops. All of these places. All of them. There was a full stop here, there, everywhere. Is that making sense?
Yes, but I have a question. I want to ask
Yes,
something.
please ask your question.
Okay, can we use the char index to impute the pipe into the middle of?
Can we use what?
Can we use the char index to impute the pipe? Is it
To
possible?
impute the pipe?
Yeah.
Why will you want to do that? You are
It's
using the
just a
char index to
question.
find the position of the pipe.
I'm just asking, for example, if let's say we have a data where, let's say, look at your England and Northwest. Let's say there is no pipe in between them, and the
Mhm,
data is
mhm,
just like
mhm.
that. And you want to probably, let's say you just want to, I'm
So
just
assuming
asking
there was
if there is
space here, assuming there was just space here, right? And you want to put a pipe here. Yes, you can use you can use replace space with the pipe.
okay, thank you.
What if there is no space there?
If there is no space there, so where will you put it? Insert. You would have to insert it in a position, though.
Yeah,
You
but
get
in
the
that
point.
case, how would you query where to insert? Because it won't be the same position for all the rows.
The point is we haven't even done insert yet.
Okay, sorry
At
for
all.
jumping ahead.
Mhm. At all. Right. So that is char index for you. Char index is a really, really powerful tool. So it can be used in cleaning, doing wonders in data when you're working with SQL. So when you are doing cleaning your data in, let's say, Excel or Power BI, the queries behind, you see, in Power BI, for example, you just click something and then the thing automatically works out. But the queries behind those executions are things like these. So imagine previously when there was no Power BI, people really had to write queries to clean data, and that still exists in even in Excel now. There is also a Power Query in Excel. So Excel also has got that facility where it automates the cleaning process. But previously, when there was no Power Queries, people actually had to write queries to clean data. And these were the tools that were used then. Right, so let's look at reverse. Reverse. I'm going to use something, yeah. Let's see, I think with reverse, I can use our, oh no, let me not change. Let me see if I can change the source of data. Oops. Let me see if I can change the source. Fingers crossed it would work. Fingers crossed. We have Beam employee. Let's take something from Beam employee. Oh gosh, it's gone again. It's gone. Let's see. Let's see. I don't think it has changed. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. The source of data hasn't changed. It's still lagging behind. So let's stop this one. I'm going to open a new query. Let's stop this one. We don't need a database for what we want to do now, and that is data handling.
Oh, sorry.
Pardon?
Sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Can you go back quickly? I just need to like take a picture of the left character, right character, like part, because I was just trying to understand it.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, can you go back
I
for
should
like
go
1
back.
second? Yeah,
Okay,
thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you.
no worries. I'm going to send you the notes anyway.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Let me try again to see if it would work. It's still not working. The source has still not changed. Right, so let's do something completely different. Date handling. Have you all opened your consoles? Have you all opened your Microsoft's SQL Server?
Yes.
If you don't mind, everybody open it. This is going to be fun, practical. And then just type what I'm typing. Okay, before we go into that, what is today's date?
8th of March.
8th of March. Okay. So in date handling, there are a number of keywords. I was jumping ahead of myself. There are a number of keywords that we need to be aware of, or we need to know. Now, these keywords are: one, get date. Get date. Two, date add. Dates diff. Dates part. Date name. These are the main keywords that we would look at when we come to date handling. When we get to date handling, these are the main words we want to look at. So if we would all So what do you think the get date is used for? Just type this. Just type what I'm typing now. And run it and see what you get. Can somebody tell us what they got?
It brought today's date and time.
It gives you today's date. So get date gives us the dates for the day. And it should also give you time, right?
Yeah.
So it gives you the date, the time. In fact, it gives you the time to the hour, to the minute, to the second. Why is it not executing? Oh gosh, my data source is still suspect. But you got it right?
Yeah.
This is still not loaded fully, so it's giving me headache.
Sorry, mine is invalid.
Pardon?
Mine is invalid.
Yours is invalid. Select get date. You don't need a data. You actually don't need a data source for this. But I'm being affected
Okay.
because of my laptop.
So I
You
should
don't
just
need a
get rid
data.
of the data.
Pardon?
Connect to AdventureWorks.
You don't even need to connect to AdventureWorks for this. But if you connect to AdventureWorks, it's fine. But it's not going to, you're not getting anything from AdventureWorks simply. Let me try again. Who got it? Oh yeah, I got it. I got it. So it should give you the date for today's date is 8th of March 2024. The time is 9:58, 50 seconds, 873 milliseconds. That is the time when this query was run. Right? Now you would see the use of this in a little bit. So assuming I ask you to use in AdventureWorks, somebody should run the query
Can
on the
I share my
Adventure.
screen?
Pardon?
Something is not right here.
Something is not right where?
Yes, I'm not getting it. It's
Oh
just not
gosh.
coming up. It's
Okay,
showing as
share your
invalid.
screen. Let's see. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so you didn't write exactly what I wrote. Select get date. At the end of get date, put your curly brackets. Now run it and no, you've commented it out, so it's not going to run. You have commented it out. You see those dash lines that you have there, those are comments you could. So just type in on the next line. Okay, now type in select space get date space get date and put your curly brackets. Run it.
Yeah, thank you. That's what happened.
So that gives you the dates and the time. Now, so assuming I ask you to, for example, find employees in the business whose start date is today. Find employees in the business. Who can write that query for us? I said we are playing today, right? So Nika, let me pick on you again. Come up with your screen again. Nika. Right. So how will you write a query to show employees? Are you in AdventureWorks? Select that database. Select employees whose start date is today. No, you haven't done. You haven't selected anything. You just click select star and then you didn't select. When you select, what are you selecting all? From where are you selecting? You didn't choose where you are making the selection. Okay, let me help you. First of all, let's do this before we do that. Click select star. Okay, select star, next line. From dim employees. You can just see the dim employees. Yep. And then run that. Highlight it and run. Okay. So what is, scroll down, use the horizontal scroll bar to scroll to your right. Not too fast. We're looking at the field names. Remember, is the field names we would be, if for example, you say get start date in this database, nothing is going to come up. Why? Because there isn't a field called start date. But see carefully, you would see something that represents start date, hire date, right? Hire date. So keep that query. Next line. So select all from employees where, where, remember the where clause. Now we are specifying exactly what we want. Where hire date, space, is equal to get date. No. Equal to, the equal operator. The operator equal. I still see you have your is there, right? Get rid of the is. So hire date is equal to get date. Your open and none, there's nothing wrong with that, but you haven't put your open and close your curly brackets at the end of get date. Get date must always have the curly brackets after it. I didn't say enclose it within the brackets. I said it should come after it. So take those brackets out. Yeah, so put the brackets after get date. Open and close. Yep. Now run that query. Let's see. If there is an employee in the business who started today. So what does this tell us? Assuming your manager tells you, Nigel, did we employ anybody today? Did the business employ anybody today? You just run this query on the company's database. And if there was somebody signed up today, that person's name should show. But as you would see, and obviously this will not give us any results because this is not a fresh database. It's been in existence for a while. So it hasn't got any employee that started today. Unless we update it with data indicating, or we insert data with employees start dates being today, then we will get a result. But we would see if there is another operator we can use that will give us some results. What operator do you think that might be? Highlight, okay, change that equal sign to less than. Less than, you've done greater than. less than. Yep. Now run it and see what you would, whether we will get a result. You get a result. And actually, this is giving us everything we have in the database. This is because all the employees here started before today. Right? They started before today. So this is one use of get dates. And we can actually, as we go on, as we do other keywords, you can see that we can find a range of time between which we will run our query to better understand the whole thing. Okay, so now let's get on to the next level. Stop sharing. Let me see if I can share now.
Thank you.
No worries. Let me see if I can share. Right, so let's now do date add. Nika, you can post your query in the chat so that people can just copy it because it's not in my notes, so that when they get the notes, they can insert it, okay?
Okay.
So the second one we will look at now is date add. Now, date add requires 3 arguments. What is date add anyway? What is date add? Can anybody think of what it might be? Can anyone think of what it might be?
Is it when you had the
Pardon?
is it when you had the
When you,
add the
yeah, when you add, yeah, of course, yeah, when you add date. So date add would usually be when you add a date onto another date. So for example, if we take today, assuming I want to find the date, I want to find the date 300 days from today. Or I want to find the date 1000 days from today. I can easily use date add to write that query. And it would find it. So date add requires 3 arguments. We have, it requires an interval. It requires an increment. And it requires an expression. These are the 3 arguments that date add requires. It requires an interval. It requires an increment. It requires an expression. The interval can be in days, weeks, months, years, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. It's a matter of choice. Same for the increment. So if you have your interval, for example, in days, you want to increase by how many days? If you have it in weeks, you want to increase by how many weeks? Is that making sense? Now, the expression is more like your baseline. Where are you starting from? That is your expression. Where are you starting from? So let's run a query. Select. We want date add. We say it requires an interval. Let's use day as our interval. Okay. We all know today is what? The 8th, right? So let's say we want an interval of 10. What will be the date in 10 days' time? I'm using this for simply so because we all know that in 10 days' time, it will be the 18th. But let's see if it will be able to tell us that it is the 18th. And we are starting from today. Get dates. Anytime you use it, should always have the curly brackets. So these curly brackets here are just for get date. The last one here is for the whole of this, okay? So if we run this query, let's see what date this would produce. Did it give us the 18th? Everybody, you can run it and see and tell me what you got. Yes, it produced the 18th of March 2024. But assuming that I want to find, I'm playing a game, a child's game, right? And I want to find the date 1,500 days from now. Will it be able to do it? Let's see if it will do it. Let me just run all of these together. Of course, it has done it. So that will be 16th of April, 2028. Incidentally, the times are the same, exactly the same time. Right? And while this is very, very useful, time here can also give us some problems as we move ahead. So we need to find a way to strip time off the results. So if we want to find this in weeks, assuming we want to find this in weeks, let's say we want to do 20 weeks from now. 20 weeks from today. What is the date? 20 weeks from today. The date 20 weeks from today is this here. Now, let me just run this one so that it doesn't become, let me just run this one here. July 26th of July, 2024. That is 20 weeks from now. In much the same way, we can do this in years. We can do this in years. If we put years here, and let's say we just have 3 years, what would we get? That is 2027, 8th of March, 2027. It gives us the dates in 3 years. Right? Good. Is that okay? Are we okay with this? And you can give us in minutes. Do you want to try that in minutes? Minutes. Minute, milliseconds, microsecond. Let's say we have 1,000 minutes. That's dates would be, actually that's tomorrow. Tomorrow at, so 1,000 minutes from now will be 2:59 p.m. tomorrow. 2:59 p.m. tomorrow. Right. Dates diff. So as you would probably know from the name, date diff is used in finding what? The difference between one date and another. Difference between one date and another. And this also requires 3 arguments. It requires interval, starting date, and end date. These are the 3 arguments it needs: starting date and end date. So if we say, for example, select date diff, somebody to give us a starting date, a date in the past. Somebody to give us a starting date.
May 7, 1982.
May 7, 1982. 1982. May is the 5th month, right? 7th. Okay, you know, this has to be put as a string. And then get date. The end date, that is today. What is our interval though? We haven't selected our interval. Okay, let's do the interval in days, in day. Right? So from May 7th, 1982 to today, how many days is that? How many days is that? $15,281 days. So actually, you can use this, and I want everyone to do this. You can use this to find the number of days you have lived on planet Earth. You can use this to find the number of days you have lived on planet Earth. You can use it to find the number of weeks, the number of years, the number of months. Do this on your own. I don't want to know anybody's age. So just do it yourselves. I encourage you all to do it and see that we don't live too long in this world at all. I was surprised when I did mine. I said, what? So all these years is just this few number of days. We can change this to week to get the interval. We can do it as month. You get where we are coming from. We get where we are heading to. We can do this as years. So if we run all of these, let's run all of these together and see what we get. Okay, I didn't finish highlighting. So what does it give us? Gives us, this is the number of days, number of weeks, number of months, and the number of years. How many of us here have children? How many have children?
Yeah.
Who just spoke?
Dayo.
Dayo, do you want us to check the age of one of your children? Do you want to give us their date of birth?
Yeah, that's fine. September the 11th, 2013.
Okay, so September 11th, 2013. For anonymity's sake, we don't want to know their name, okay? We don't want to know their name. September 11th, 20. Okay. 2013, September 11th.
I have a question about the date format. So is that like the standard way SQL likes it written, like the year?
Pardon me. I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was saying that the date formatting that you've written, is that the standard way in it?
You know what? We will
SQL,
come
or
to
is
that. There are different ways of writing dates in SQL.
Okay.
And whichever one you choose would work.
All right, thank you.
Right? There are about 20 or so, if not more. I'll look for it and then we will discuss that. But I don't think we can do that today, though. You can choose whichever format you want. That is, remember I said we would talk about convert? Yeah, convert. We will do that when we get back to converting. The use of the word convert under string handling, okay? So let's see how many days this young chap has. That's the number of days, the number of weeks, number of months, and the number of years. Right? I'm sure when you tell him or her that you've just lived in this world for 3,800, they'll be surprised. They'll be really be surprised. After all these many years, it's only 3,831. Right? So, DebtDiff is also a very powerful tool. You can use this to find the length of service of your staff. So assuming you want just to find how the oldest employee in your establishment, this is what you can use to find. Remember the query that Nike wrote? Very similar to that. Very similar. So we get maybe I should give that as an assignment, actually. Using the AdventureWorks database, okay? Find the oldest employee in the business. We'll come to that, though. We'll come to that. No rush. The next part we're going to look at is what is called DatePart. DatePart. One moment, please. As you would probably see from the name, we only want a part of a date or a day. We only want a part of it. We don't want the full thing. So this requires just 2 arguments. Two arguments. We want the interval and the date. And date. So if we say select DatePart, day, gets date. Let's see what this would give us. What date is today? Today is the 8th, right? If we were to run this query here, it gives us something. It gives us the whole date, time, and everything. But let's see what this one would give us. It gives us just the day within the date. Okay. And this can also be used. Let's see if it will give us the month. Well, let's see if it would recognize the month in which we are. It does recognize the month. So see, the server is quite brilliant. And in much the same way, it would recognize the year. (2024). Date name. This also requires 2 arguments. It also requires 2 arguments. Please take note of this query here, which produced this result. We'll come across something again like that in a bit. So let's select date name, date name. It requires the day and it requires the interval and the date. That is today. We are using today, right? What will this produce? It produces 8, just as this one produced 8. So what's the difference? What is the difference? This is also producing 8. And we call it date name, but it's giving us a number. You want, oh, what have I done here? If you want to get the name of the day of the week, you have to convert that to weekday. So these two queries, these two are the same. This is 8th day of 8. Today is the 8th of the month, and it is a Friday. 8th of the month, and it is a Friday. We can also use this to get the month. And it tells us it's March. And we can use it to get a year. But will the year 2024 have a name? That's one thing I told you to keep an eye for. The year. (2024). What is the difference between this year here and that one? Can anyone tell us?
I don't think there's any difference because the first
Yeah,
one,
physically looking at it with the Kuro eyes, no, there's no difference.
yeah,
But
the first
intrinsically, there is a
one,
difference.
yes, the first one is the parts of the date.
A part of the date. And what will a part of the dates be?
Day, month, and year.
In terms of data types.
Oh,
So today is 8th of March. So if I just want the date today, 8, what type of data is that? That's an integer, right? That's an integer. So this one produces a number, whilst this here is a string. It doesn't show that it's a string, but the logical result here, you are asking it to give you a name. A name is a string, not an integer. That is where the difference is. So there is a difference. Okay, there is a difference. Right. So these are the 5 main things we want to look at today. Just a few more things. So in all of these things, how do we now start counting our days? And if you would recall, or if you would know, there's been arguments going on as to which day of the week is the first day, which one is the last day. Some people use Sunday as the first day, some people use Monday. And I believe there will be those who use Friday and there will be those who use Saturday. For different reasons. Some religious, some secular. So we need to find a way to accommodate all of these things when we're running our queries. We need to know where we are starting from. What dates are we using? So if we count the days, 1, 2, 3, there are 7 days in a week, right? There are 7 days in a week. If we set, what you do with that is usually for the sake of business and work purposes, we will say Monday is the first day of the week, right? So what you do with that, we can say Monday is day 1. If we say Monday is day 1, day. Tuesday will be day 2, right? So Sunday will be day 7. That is if we start with Monday as day 1. Okay. Having Monday as day 1, we see what we do with that. So if we, for example, what you would do with this is to set the day of the week that you want to use as your starting date or day, as your counting day. So today is Friday, right? If I use Monday as my starting day, what day will it be today? The 5th day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days. But if I were to use Sunday as my starting day, today will be what day? The 6th day, right? So how does that work? What you do is you set your first day of the week, and that is day first or date first. Set date first. If you set date first 1, that references Monday. References. So day first, that references Monday. References Monday. Okay. So set day first as, if you set it as 1, that references Monday. Now, if you write the query to get the weekday, select date part. We want the weekday. Weekday. And get date. So today is the 5th day of the week. Today is the 5th day of the week. However, if we set Sunday as the first day of the week, What day will today be? I guess by now you know why that happened. So today is the 6th day of the week if we start counting from Sunday. And we can decide to count from Friday, which would be, by this Friday will be day 5. And let's see what day today is. Day 5. And that gives us today as the first day of the week. Today is the first day of the week. Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yes,
So the
please.
query this last query where you commented reference and then the day, does it actually take that part into account when running the query?
No, no, no.
It
It's
should be
commented out.
commented out. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's commented out.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah. For some reason, mine one is not
It's not
highlighting
working?
different colors anymore.
Pardon?
I don't know, mine is just writing out in black now. It's not
Share your
differentiating the
screen. Let's
colors.
see. Share your screen.
Okay. Mm. Can you see? Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
So from here, I don't know what I've done. It's just writing it in black.
Are you connected?
I think so.
Scroll down, let me see. Okay, so comment out requires 2 arguments. Under number 4, date parts,
Mm.
comment out requires 2 arguments.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's just that.
Okay.
Now select date part. Select date part, and then you have your day and get date. Date part, select date part. Highlight that query, let's see. Execute, let's see what would happen. It is executing. So something, so there is nothing wrong with the query, except you've lost the colorations.
Okay.
What might that be? It's possible you've lost connection with your server.
Oh, okay. But why is it now running?
Um, it could be running because it's not dependent on any database.
Should I reconnect or?
Reconnect and try it again, and let's see.
Same thing.
Nothing is happening, yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this some other time. I'm not
Okay.
sure what it might be.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So more or less that brings us to a close of today's, but there is something important that I want us to look at. Remember I said if you want to find the number of the employees. Okay, let me run this data, this query and see.
You're not sharing, Godwin.
No, I'm not sharing. I'm okay, sorry. Where's the Zoom? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Select all. Let me see. Let me just look at the column headers in that. Select all. I hope my database is connected. It's still not connected. If it's connected, it should automatically come down. Okay. Okay. I think it is. Okay, let me run this and see. Assuming we want to find the oldest 7 employee in this database, who can tell us how we can go about that? What we need?
We need date diff.
We need today's date.
We need get
And we
date
need
and date diff.
and we need what?
The higher date.
We need today's date and we need the higher date. And which of the keywords shall we use?
The date diff.
The date diff. Should I leave that for you to do?
I already did it.
You've done it.
Yes.
Brilliant, brilliant. Can you share with us, please? Let me stop sharing. Share it with us, Juliet.
That's just to give us the difference. And then I added the where clause to find the oldest 7.
Okay, so this thing is, can you put it in
Can you
Are
not
you able
switch?
to? Is that the whole screen?
Yes. You're on the whole screen. Is it not coming up as a whole screen? Maybe it's my
I
network.
think okay. So that's select
So is this one
employee what?
employee key? Sorry, let me make it
Employee.
bigger. Maybe that will help. Is that better?
Yeah, select employee key, hire date, diff, day, hire date, get date as employment period from employee where
That's a
date
typo.
diff is greater than 6,400.
So I initially ran the first 2 lines just to get an idea of the numbers here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw they were all around 6,000 thereabout. So I then added the last one to kind of filter out to see the oldest. So this is the oldest, employee 1.
But you see that this one hasn't really given you the oldest. Yes, you've been able to, you can find the oldest given the results you have now, but it really hasn't given you the oldest. You want the oldest, they should just give you
Just the one
the
row.
one person.
Yeah, okay. Today's the bit that needs to be.
You are nearly there. I think I'll leave it for you to do. But there is one key thing in this employment period, hire date. Okay, I'll leave it for you to do. Yeah,
Okay,
and we'll talk
I'll stop
about it.
sharing.
We'll talk about it next week.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much.